that we are doing here on a Wednesday morning. It's 11 o'clock for me here in Toronto, Canada. I don't know what time it is for you, where you are watching this now. And we will talk today about pain tolerance. I chose this topic because I find it is so misunderstood by my patients, by other doctors, by the general public. What some people think it's pain tolerance is not exactly what they think it is going on. So before we start this live session today, I'd like to know who is here today. Are you, just say your name if you can in the chat, and where are you joining today from? I love to hear which part of the world is watching us today. So if you can just go ahead and type in the chat and introduce yourself. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Andrea Furlan, and I am a physician specialist in physical medicine rehabilitation, and I work in Toronto, Canada. So welcome to this live session here. And before I also start, I need to say that this video is not intended to give you medical advice. So please don't ask me to give you my opinion about your symptoms or your disease, because I can't do that. I need to examine the person. Usually the person needs to come here to my office in Toronto, and I need to examine and see them. And if there is any problem that you're facing, please talk to your doctor. And if during this live session there is any emergency, please call an ambulance or go to the nearest emergency department. Okay, so about pain tolerance. And what is that people understand as pain tolerance? I have some patients that when I approach this topic of pain tolerance, and they usually respond saying, "Oh, doctor, but I have a very high pain tolerance. I am not a weak person. I am not like a child, or I don't cry for anything. I have a very pain, threshold, and things don't usually affect me." So they want to demonstrate to me that they are very strong. They are like they endured a lot of difficulties in their life. Some people came from regions of the world that they endured war or even torture or very hardships in their lives. And then they think that because of this, their pain threshold, their pain tolerance is very high, and therefore they don't know why they're feeling pain. And or if they are feeling pain, they think it must be really something very serious affecting me and my body, and nobody knows what it is because I have this pain for so long. And so I must have something very serious, deadly in my body, because I'm usually a very high tolerance person. Let me tell you this, and that's why I'm doing this live today. There is very little evidence, scientific evidence from all over the world that if you endured a lot of hardships in your life, like torture, war, a lot of pain procedures, surgeries, or trauma or accidents, that will make you more resilient to pain, that your pain tolerance will go higher. It's actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite, because those situations that cause stress, trauma in our body and in our mind make us more sensitive to pain, make us more hyper vigilant to pain, make us more watching carefully what's going around me. Because if you had let's say a lot of accidents, surgery, and fractures and bones, or you went to war, your pain system became very sensitized at that time. And now it's watching for everything with much more intensity. It's watching what's going on around you. Any small cut in your skin, your brain said, "Oh, I remember that. We had a surgery, or we had an accident 5 years ago. And I remember, so once the brain remembers something traumatic that happened in the past, it exaggerates the response. So it's actually the opposite. So I think it is important for us to define what is pain sensitivity, what is pain tolerance, what is pain threshold, right? Because these things are correlated. So I'd like to know who is here today. If you can say your name and where are you in the world, I'd love to hear that. And I also like to say that I have a full video. It's video number 149 in my channel that I explain these things in more details. Let me just put this video here in the chat. So let me see here if I can. Just give me a second. I'm copying the link to this video. It's video number 149 on my channel. Here. Okay, if you want to watch the full video after, I don't know if the link works when I put things on the chat. I don't know if you can click on the link, but anyways, it's number 149. Hi, Mary Ellen. Oh, you're in Florida. I hope it's warm there. It's a little cold here in Toronto. It's still cold. Anyone else you'd like to introduce yourself, where you're watching from? I would love to hear. There are sometimes during these live sessions, there are people from all over the world, and I love to see where they are from. Okay, so what is pain sensitivity? Because it's very linked to pain threshold and pain tolerance. So pain sensitivity, when we looked at pain sensitivity, and I'm going to use the term pain sensitivity more because it's a combination of pain threshold and pain tolerance, okay? So pain threshold is that point that if we do any stimulation in your body, and scientists do this in laboratory, they will bring you to the laboratory and they will stimulate you with some things that are supposed to hurt or not supposed to hurt. And the moment that you say, oh, it hurts, that is the pain threshold. And then the scientists in laboratory, they know exactly how much is that stimulus. So for example, if they are doing, sometimes they cause pain by something that is very hot or very cold, or something that is an electrical shock. So they know exactly the temperature, they know exactly how much electrical impulse they're causing. Now, let's say that the scientist is doing something with a hot and they know the temperature. So they say, okay, so maybe Andrea has a pain threshold with this temperature. So they know my pain threshold to that temperature. And then they say, Andrea, can you keep feeling that pain? I say, okay, it's painful, but I can keep, you can keep stimulating this. And then the moment that I say, no, I can't get anymore, you have to stop. I can't tolerate anymore. That's tolerance. Okay, so threshold is the moment that the person starts feeling the pain, and tolerance is how much they can tolerate pain. And tolerance can be measured in time, seconds, minutes, hours, that they can tolerate the pain. Or it is also what is the maximum temperature that they can reach without saying that they are in pain. And I see here Sally. Hi, Sally. Joe Race. You're from New York, very close here, south of the border. Christine, this past winter has been brutal on your rheumatoid arthritis. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes. And Riley Ron is from Allagash, Maine, 24 Fahrenheit there. Wow, okay, another snowstorm coming on the way tomorrow. Well, yeah, I think our winter doesn't want to leave us, right? Yeah, Maine is not that far from here, Canada. Yeah, we don't have snow today, but we have a little bit of cold and a lot of wind. It's very windy here. They said we are going to have thunderstorms. So coming back to our pain threshold and pain tolerance. So now that you understand the difference, what is a pain threshold and pain tolerance, and again, I talk a lot about that in my video number 149 on my channel that I posted a year ago. I think the important thing here is, so these two are called pain sensitivity, okay? I think the important thing is, can we change this pain sensitivity? can we change our pain thresholds and pain tolerance? So there are a lot of studies done by scientists in laboratory around the world, because these are experiments that are very interesting also for us to understand how our body works in the presence of pain. And they're experiments that are not difficult to do. So a lot of graduate students, Ph.D. students, and scientists do these experiments around the world. And I'm fascinated when I go to pain conferences and they present their studies. So they usually say, okay, we use this pain thresholds, pain tolerance experiments to see what can we do to help the person feel less pain. So I'm going to tell you some things that they found. Yeah, so we have here Marianne Aquino from Minnesota. Hi, Marianne, nice to have you here. If you didn't introduce yourself yet, I'd love to know where you're from. Yes, so the main things that we know, and again, we're talking about acute pain. In laboratory, these people are exposed to an acute pain event, right? It's quick, in a few minutes, an hour, they're done, they don't feel pain anymore. So it might be a little bit different when a person has chronic pain, because chronic pain is different from acute pain. You probably, if you follow me on my channel, you know these are two distinct things. Chronic pain is when that acute insult, that injury, that trauma, that disease, that lesion has already healed, but the body continues the sound alarm of danger, and that is pain, right? So the body healed, the injury is gone, the doctor took care of that problem, but years later, the person continues feeling that pain. It's because the sound, the alarm of the house has not been turned down. So chronic pain is a little bit different from acute pain. Here we're talking more about acute pain, because tolerance and threshold are measured for acute pain. We don't have a lot of experiments of threshold and tolerance in chronic pain. We need more of those studies to understand in chronic pain how pain threshold and tolerance are changed. Okay, but when we talk about, so how can we change our pain threshold and pain tolerance? What we know from scientific evidence that already the scientists have done is that there are a couple of things that we can use in practical advice, very practical. First one is expectation. So the scientists brought people to the laboratory and they created some expectation. And they said, okay, we're going to do an experiment that is very painful. Very few people can tolerate this. Oh, it's awful. Are you sure you want to do this experiment? Right? And the person, oh yeah, I want, because sometimes they get some money, cash, and they're paid for being exposed to those experiments. So they say, yeah, I need the cash, and I think I can tolerate pain. Yeah. And then, so then they go to have the experiment, and the scientists start applying the stimulus to their skin, to their head, to their abdomen. So they apply in many parts of the body. It's usually in the skin, but they could also apply like things that balloons that increase the esophagus or cavities. And it's interesting, for those people, the volunteers who came to the laboratory and they were told, oh, this hurts a lot, nobody can tolerate this experiment, they felt a lot of pain to the same stimulus. And then there were another group of individuals who came to the same laboratory, but the researchers told them, this is a piece of cake, you're going to do this experiment, it's pain, but everybody barely feel pain, you probably are not going to feel pain. So they were creating some different expectation to the different group of people. And then they applied the same stimulus to that group of people that were primed to have low expectation of pain. Can you guess what happened? I don't know if this is surprising to you or not. For me, it's not surprising because I've seen this so many times. But the people who are primed to feel more pain because of their expectations, they felt the pain scores were super high. And the people who were primed to feel very little pain, like, oh, this is a piece of cake, nobody feels pain, their pain scores were very low. We're talking about the same painful stimulus, okay? There was no difference. These were people from different sexes, male, female, different ages, younger, older, with different backgrounds, terrible backgrounds in the past, nice backgrounds, nice setup. It doesn't matter. Those who expected, oh, okay, I'm expecting to have a little bit of pain and I'll get the same cash. So they did not know that the other group were primed to expect a lot of pain. And those who were primed to expect a lot of pain had no idea that there was another group who were primed to have low pain. The scores are very different. Okay, so expectation, what is that the person is thinking before they feel the pain? So if you go to emergency, let's say you have a car accident and you hit your head or your neck and you think you broke your neck, or you have you had a car accident and your head is spinning. Oh, it must be really serious. So your expectation, oof, it's going up and up and up. And then you go to emergency, you wait hours, and then you get an X-ray, a CT scan, and then some doctors come and they look at your X-ray and say, oh, this is terrible. All of this is creating that expectation for you to feel more pain. Okay? It doesn't matter if you tell me, oh, but my pain thresholds are very high. I endured so many problems in my life. I'm very strong. Look at me. I never cry. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you had an expectation, this is going to hurt. This is a serious problem. I hit my head. I had a car accident. And you are mad at the driver that hit you. That anger, that frustration, that uncertainty, all going up, whoop, the pain scores will be 9, 10 out of 10. Okay. So think about that. If the same person is in a situation that they hit their head and the neck, but let's say they were playing soccer, or they were playing football, or they were playing handball with their friends, and they were having fun in a beach, and suddenly they had the same kind of injury, and then they say, oh, I hit my head, my neck hurts, but then their friend says, oh, you know what, you will be good, tomorrow you will be playing again with us, just have a seat there, have a drink and relax, take a nap, tomorrow you'll be good. So their expectations of pain are less. Two similar injuries, one that happened at the beach, the person was having fun playing with their friends and they hit their neck and head. The other one was in a car accident. The same amount of injury to the neck and the head can have very different courses. This one will have very high pain intensity, high pain scores, may become disabled. This one, tomorrow they're playing again. I've seen this. If not 100 of times, maybe dozens of times this happening. Let me see who else is here. Oh, we have Rob Moe from Malvin. I think that's Pennsylvania. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. Yes. And Riley is saying, how do thoughts and beliefs about pain influence its intensity? Yeah, and anxiety, intensity. Yeah, so I just gave you an example, right, Riley? These two things, these two different situations, the injury is the same, but with very different outcomes, very different results, okay? So expectation is one of them. Another one that we know about from a lot of scientific studies is attention. We know that if the scientists are doing the painful stimulation and they ask the person, pay attention to what I'm doing, look what I'm doing, they're focusing on that thing, they feel more pain. At the same time, if they're doing the painful stimulus, the same intensity, but they are distracting the person, so they're not paying attention, they barely feel the pain. You probably have heard about virtual reality being used in hospitals to treat children with burns. This is very common. Here in Canada, it becomes standard of care. When a child is admitted to a burn unit because they have burns, very sad, right? And burns hurt a lot. Especially when they're doing, they have to change the dressing, so they have to remove the old dressing, put a new one. The child really feels, not only the child, but adults too. But they are using virtual reality in the children's hospital. I went to Halifax last year for a conference, and they showed beautiful conference. They were talking about how they are using virtual reality. What happens is when they're doing changing the dressings in the children's hospital, they put those goggles, and the child is watching a video game or playing a video game or having fun. So they're distracted with the video game or the movie, and they have very little, they still have pain, but they have very much less than when they were not using virtual reality VR. And they use much less analgesics for their changing the dressings, because they don't feel so much pain. So attention, so we learned about one, expectation, what they expect, attention, if they're distracted or not. Those two are very much based on evidence. All the laboratories in the world show that this is true. You can change your pain sensitivity. You can change both the pain tolerance and the pain threshold, okay? Now, there are a few other very interesting experiments that they do. It's about the social context. And this might be interesting for people who are having chronic pain as well. So the social context is where is the pain happening? Okay. So in the laboratories, they showed that if the pain is happening and they have an environment that is very friendly with friendly colors, so they show that blue and green colors, like they can, like I can change the colors of these lights here. So I have blue there, and I'm going to change it to a very painful color, which is red. So you see here, red color. So if they change the color of the environment to red, the pain sensitivities increase. The same stimulus, we're talking about the same stimulation, the people will say the intensity of pain was higher than if they change the color to, this is supposed to be green. Let me put, yeah. Is it green? Yeah, I think it's green or blue. Okay. So I will leave blue. I'll leave the blue color here for everybody. So the blue and green environment, because they remind us of sky, water, ocean, calm, healing. And red reminds us of fire, danger, blood, firefighters, right? So the social context where the pain is happening. But not only that, it's also who are other people present with us. So again, the scientists made some very interesting experiments. They brought a person to be exposed to pain, but they also asked the person, can you bring your significant other? Can you bring your someone that you like could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, could be your spouse. So they brought their partners. And they found that when they were doing the painful stimulus, and the person that they like, they love, like their partner was there with them, especially holding hands, guess what? They said that they were feeling less pain. The pain was less intense, even when they applied the same stimulation. And it was a lot less. And in those experiments, it was interesting. I've read some of those experiments. They also showed the brain activity. They did like electroencephalogram, EEG. And so they were measuring the EEG of the person that was being tested for pain and the partner. So they put EEG on the partner's head and the person's head. And they showed that when they were holding hands and the person was being stimulated with pain, their brain activities kind of connected. The same areas of this brain with another areas of the other brain, but they were all the same areas. And they did this with many different couples. So every couple kind of activated the same areas. Well, not the same area in the couple, but it was the person that was feeling pain always activated some areas, and the person that was observing the pain activated other areas, but those areas were always the same, and the person felt less pain. So also depends on who is around you. So we know that people who feel isolated, alone, helpless, even if they live with other people in the house, but the other people don't care about them, they feel alone, they feel isolated, they have more pain intensity. They describe that their pain intensity is higher. Their pain scores are higher. And that might be because of this. They don't have that social context, okay? Yeah. So we have here Yoshi from India. Hi. And thank you, Kristavini. Thank you for your kind words and the hearts there. Thank you. What else? So we learned about expectations. We learned about attention. We learned about the social context. So there are other things that change. We also know that depending on the mental status, if the person is more depressed and more anxious, the pain sensitivity increase. So a person that has depression, their pain scores tend to be higher. They feel they're more sensitive to pain. Also, some other things that the person can be doing and they don't know is smoking, and smoking anything, smoking tobacco, smoking cannabis, even vaping, all of those toxic substances in the smoke and in the vape causes changes in the pain threshold, and the person, especially smoking, the pain thresholds are worse. The person feels more pain. Alcohol, uncontrolled diabetes, or if a person has thyroid problems or liver problems or kidney problems, that their electrolytes are unbalanced, this can also cause pain sensitivity, the person to become more sensitive to pain. So we also know that there are some things the person can do. They can do some exercises to reduce their pain sensitivity. They can practice some things that work. We have evidence, again, from scientific studies. The scientists that do this volunteer studies in laboratory, they're not just trying to torture people, they're trying to find out what does it work to reduce the sensitivity to pain. So things that have been shown that works really well, vagus nerve exercise. And I have a video on my channel. It's my video number 87. Let me just write here in the chat. Number 87, vagus nerve exercise. Really help to reduce the sensitivity that a person has to pain. Another one that I have on my channel is also square breathing. Any breathing exercise, you don't need to do these ones that I'm showing you here, but any breathing exercise, because they activate the vagus nerve actually. And they showed in laboratories and in exercises. Regular exercises also help, like doing aerobic exercises, resistance exercises, improve pain tolerance. Yoga, there is a lot of evidence. I know someone here from India, and I hope you practice yoga. Yeah, yoga is an excellent, because yoga includes mind exercise, mind relaxation, breathing exercises, and body exercises. So yoga helps to improve pain sensitivity. And also some vocalization. Some people say that singing, humming, doing sounds, or even screaming with pain, they say that if you feel an acute pain and then you just say, ouch, or even say, some people say some curse words, I'm not going to say here, it helps to release that energy of the pain. So vocalization also helps. So those are the things that I want to teach you today. And you probably heard that I have a new book. It was released yesterday. And one of the exercises that we do, because this book is more for you to practice, okay? My first book, The 8 Steps to Conquer Chronic Pain, is for you to learn things about pain. This one here, you are unique, and so is your pain, is for you to practice. So you have to write things. There are a lot of exercises. So look, the exercise on page 40 is about high or low pain tolerance. So here, this exercise is for you to think about the things that are going on in your life, for you to think about how you can increase pain tolerance, increase pain threshold in your life, for you to think about some situations that are going on in your life, for you to identify. Maybe you identify with something that I said here today about being alone. Maybe you live with other people, but they don't care about you. Nobody cares about your pain. So you feel alone, you feel isolated. Maybe that's what's increasing your pain thresholds, right? Yeah, Riley said you learn box breathing in military. Yeah, of course. Because if you're in military, you need to learn how to lower your pain sensitivity, how to calm down your nerve system. You cannot be stressed and in pain all the time. So box breathing is excellent. I'm so glad they're teaching that in military. Yes, so here is an exercise, day 40. It's my book. My new book is includes 90 it's not meditations. It's a journaling activity. I want you to journal, meditate, think about, and write. So there are 90 days to think about things that I think are important for people who have chronic pain. And so for those of you who pre-ordered the book, I hope you are getting your copies. So the copies were starting to be shipped yesterday. And for those of you who didn't get a copy yet, you can order from Chapters Indigo in Canada. You can order from any bookstores where books are sold. You can basically ask them and they will bring your books. Online stores or your favorite bookstore where you live, ask them to bring the book for you and they will. I hope you like this live. I'm hoping I'll be able to do live sessions every Wednesday around this time. And don't forget to say, where are you watching from? Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, line's gone. Oh, you don't have electricity in your area. I'm sorry to hear that, Rachel. And I hope they recover your lights very soon. And I hope to see you again in a live session next Wednesday. If God allows, I'll be here again and do lives on Wednesdays. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed something. You can write in the comments what you learned today. Thank you. Bye-bye.